Hello, hello. We're live on all platforms. I think we are. Welcome back. Bloody great to have you. Fantastic to see you. Glad you could make it. Orkin, what's happening, my friend? How you doing? So we're gonna do another chill stream today. Not like any other streams aren't chill, but I like the vibe of last stream. Kind of a bit of everything, just following the vibes, for lack of a better word. Dealership, how you doing? Art Silvana, welcome. I'm Scribble, how you doing? Karina, welcome, welcome, welcome. Waffle Art, great to have you. Okay, so let us situate ourselves so as that the pen tablet does what I want it to do. Let's have a look. Let's go monitor 1. No, not all monitors, monitor 1. That should be sufficient. Julia, how you doing? Welcome. Art of Black, great to have you. Kentas, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, the menu, what is on it? Great question. I'm just making sure that we've got some fluidity with our brush. Beautiful. As far as this is going at the moment, we're okay technical wise. Waffle Art, appreciate you, my friend. Reverence, how you doing? Pelican, what's going on? Queonda, I don't know what that means, but hello. Vardan, support from India, you bloody legend. All right. Lorene, great to have you. So, quick announcements as well. Bloody art drop happened yesterday. The plain Janes, poof, gone. Sold out like no one's business. Even the special edition ones, which I was kind of iffy about if something would happen with them. They're gone. The hands, phew. We've got a few of them left, but they're going. We've got a couple of art prints left. I'm closing the shop tonight because I've got to get these shipped out. So, if you guys want to get yourself a little piece of me, no, that sounds odd, a little piece of my artwork, let me just crack that open shortly for you. So these are sold out. We've got a couple of the hands left, a couple of the hands, and a couple of the art prints left. And this old mate here is going to be slipped into one of the orders. So you've got until tonight, my time. So 12 hours. If you want to give it a whirl, I'll chuck the link in here for you. I'll chuck the link in here for you. There you go, and I'll just pin that bad boy. Don't often pin messages, but the drop is only open for this amount of time until 10 p.m. tonight. So about 12 hours. So go nuts. All right, let's get going with it. Cami, how you doing? Am I going to do another drop sometime? Yeah, it'll be a consistent thing, but when, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to be working towards Lightbox this year, so it's going to be in October, so there won't be one before that, I don't think. Bashar, I had to go through an AI ad about cats playing their guitar on Inquiry. What the fuck? I've turned ads off in the streams. For how long that's going to be happening for, I'm not sure, but I just think the stream experience is worth more than the pennies that I make on the fucking ads. Duncan, what's going on, my friend? Okay. Reference. Let's pick one. I want to do some faces. All right. Before stream, like 2 seconds before stream, I was just whipping past the old Pinterest. And I'm fascinated. I'm absolutely fascinated right now with color variation, particularly in sort of like skin or just anything really, anything more like organic. So I feel like I want that to be the theme for this stream. And we might have to invent some of that. That might be a thing that we've got to do. So here also I'll whip the Pinterest board in here if you guys want to follow along. Cammy, I want to learn perspective and I don't know where to start from. Do you have a Discord channel? I do. It links in the description. Okay, give us something. Give me something. I'll know it when I see it. I'll know it when I see it. Come on. Give me something. Give me something. And then we'll get cracking. We'll do a like a 15-minute, like the regular warm-ups, but it's going to be with faces this time, like last time. Also, thumbnail experiment with the streams worked. I had a hunch. I executed on the plan. And it increased the views, which was interesting. Let's go this lady. I've drawn her a couple of times, but this is like, we've got some real nice variations in here. Okay. So I'm just gonna, where did it go? Excuse me, what? Can we just, it went behind Clint. All right, mate. Here we are. So this is going to be our reference. Referentials. And we're going to close Pinterest because we all know it's an absolute memory hog. All right, beautiful. What did I search on there? I literally just started off with, I just let the old algorithm do its thing. I just get a face that looks interesting and then I just go, give me some more of that, give me some more of that. And then I'll pick another random one and I said, give me some more of that. And that's pretty much it. Okay. Also, need some energy this morning. Yerba mate is fantastic for a sustained energy release. I whipped past Macca's this morning after the workout. Had to do it. All right. Let's get the timer going. Where's our docs? Countdown timer. Let me just double check that the pen's working. Thank you very much, Photoshop, just for working this one time for me. We got the doc countdown timer. All right, we got 15 minutes on the clock. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Sunday for everyone else. Sketchy guy, Nevada. Great to have you. Or is that my Pinterest? Yeah, it's my Pinterest. What pen tablet am I using? All my stuff is in the description, Lucky. Or Luck 13, just for future reference. Artistic, what's happening, my friend? Okay. We all ready? I'm going to assume we're all ready because I'm anxious. I want to get cracking with it. So, let's begin. All right, so I'm going to. Can we all see this? Yep, that's fairly clear. Simple shapes first. I'm actually really keen to get back, like really head first into YouTube because this last batch was a lot of work. more than quadrupled the stuff that I was making. So I'm really looking forward to like pumping content, getting it cranking again. Right, so here I'm working in 2D land right now. Okay, I'm gonna try and talk through some of my thinking. Okay, hopefully that's not annoying, but we're in 2D land right now. Is the timer going? Yep, timer's going. Okay, so now I want to put some landmarks in. I want this stylized. Okay, so putting a little landmark for the eye. That's kind of like 50-50 2D, 3D kind of thinking. Ear, neck muscle, shoulders. Right, real quick. Nose. Not going for likeness here. This is more of going to be a color experiment. But if we get a bit of likeness, not gonna hate it. Not gonna be upset. All right, direction of that eye. Lashes. Lashes. Boom, boom. There we go. Isham, what's happening, my friend? Welcome back. Cami, I believe it's in the description. We've got eyebrow. Boom, boom. Brow there. Let's get a bit of the hairline going. The hair's too small. I don't know why I'm working on the edge of the bloody canvas, so let's scooch me over just a little bit. Let's stay zoomed out. Let's get my head out the way completely. There we go. All right, find that cheek. Let's get some of these squigglies going. A little bit more hair in the back because it's kind of squishing down via the weight of the bun. Okay, more hair here. Now we might go into shape mode momentarily. I might just quickly knock this back. And now let's have a look. So yeah, this batch, great success. Also got to start making stuff for Lightbox as well, which is going to be fun. I have recorded a ton of B-roll of like making this stuff as well, so that could be an idea for a new YouTube video. How's that lip? That bottom lip's quite large, so in comparison. Again, not going for likeness, just having some fun with it. Ishan, how dare you? No, you're fine, man. You're fine. It ebbs and flows, you know. Sometimes we have a bunch of people in here. Sometimes we have a couple of people in here. But it's all good fun. Then I put them up after. But Shah, how can you start with a rough sketch and not be intimidated by the rest of the drawing? Just how? Because I'm just focusing on this section right now. I'm not thinking. I am kind of thinking a little bit. I'd be lying if I wasn't. But I'm not too caught up on oh, what's the hue of this nose going to be? Or the cheeks, or I see yellow here and I see yellow here. I see more orange up here. You know, like I'm not concerned about that. I'm trying to build that foundation, build the scaffolding I'm not putting the windows in the house before I build it, you know? So I'm just trying to give myself something. All right, we've got something here. Now we're going to whip open the old filthy plugin. Old faithful. I'm going to start in black and white, because I really enjoyed just doing that little value study at the end of last stream. So I might just get some of this outline going. Cool. Now we got something to work within. Let's start blocking in some of these just straight darker shapes, values. I've been going down the rabbit hole as well of like different brushes from like painting the special edition plain Janes. You've got like sable, like Kalinsky sable is the bee's knees apparently. And there's all this shit you got to do. You can't let the paint go up too far in the stick part of it where it connects to the stick, because it will ruin the brush. But the brush is like $80 per brush. Haven't got myself to throw the money down on that. Yeah, as I'm kind of newish to the whole painting side of things, but I can definitely see a benefit of it. But it's just one of those things, yeah. Whatever new thing that you get into, you start to go down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And start to, it's just, it really is, it's just like a massive rabbit hole. All right. What do we got here? So we got some of these darker hues, darker tones. Let's creep up on these values. Let's find, this is a tricky one, right? This is a tricky bit of reference because the light is like bang on. Like you can see the reflection. It's like a camera, right? So I've got to try and find where those transitions are going to go. I don't want to get too caught up in the details, as always, because that can ruin us. But I hope you guys have been having a good week. Been smashing your goals, keeping busy. Just put an indication of some sort of collar there. I do like to creep up on values versus like throw them down super harsh in the beginning. I mean, I guess the darker values were pretty harsh, but this is much more of a creep up on the values kind of session, I'm thinking. Well, now there's a little bit of invention here with some of the forms. Okay. Now I want to try this as well. Feather. So with a filthy plugin, you can feather because it's just a feature of Photoshop, right? So we can feather some of these values in, but still using the lasso tool, which is kind of helpful. Now, one thing that I'm finding as well, like there's so much crossover with, like obviously traditional painting, but even just painting on models and how I've painted the plain Jane. The eye is not white by any stretch of the imagination. If you look at the pure color that I use for the eye and where it looks good, it's such a dark gray. So that's something to take into account as well with painting, right? This, bless you me. This is probably the correct value, or something similar to this for the eye, or the sclera. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I'm going to go down a notch in values here. Ashlyn, how you doing? Nah, you're not too late, you're fine. Yeah, it does have that kind of clay sculpture vibe, doesn't it? A little bit. Let's turn the feather off. It can be a little bit distracting when we're just trying to lay down these values. Now, what I'm going to do, what time have we got? Shit, 2 minutes. All right, well, this went fast, didn't it? Whoops. So let's add a background in here so we've got something to judge our values off of. Just something a little bit other than a stark white background. That'll do. All right, she needs some eyelashes. That's what she needs. So let's go. Yep, that works. Some of those darker accents, I guess. Timer, where's my timer? Alright. I think we can also get rid of this sketch here, because that's throwing off the silhouette a little bit. Keep some of the sketchy stuff, I don't mind it. And then next round, I think we're going to go full on with the values and the color and the color variation. And I'll see if I can describe what I see in the skin. Because there's all sorts, there's purples, there's yellows, there's oranges, there's reds, all over the place. Actually doing pretty well. I've been messing around with a MySpace clone. Nice one. What are you building that in? It's like a JavaScript. And what's that for? Just for fun? I've actually had some time recently to pop into the coding realm myself. I'm revamping the website. I've got some plans for the website. Ahmen.com. Okay, this is where we got to. I think, yeah, we'd be out of time in a sec. Yep, out of time. What was I looking at that I wanted to? That's fine. Okay, cool. So we've got something, a base, something to massage into reality. KT, how you doing? Horned Warlord. Can I get your opinion on this 3D model I made if I post it in your Discord server? I can't make any promises, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm pretty swamped. But possibly at the end of the stream. If it is, it might be at the end of the stream. We'll take a look if someone reminds me to hop in the Discord. Duncan, how's the planning for Lightbots going? Yeah, I need to get my passport today. That's what I need to do. But the planning is okay. There hasn't been really much planning, but I've started to, like with the art drops, I know I can do some prints, which is good. I know the whole process of doing the sculpts, like the hand sculpts here. All right, the breakdown collection, plug, you know the drill. But, and even the plain Janes and the special edition plain Janes and that kind of stuff. My big questions are, like a banner for the table. Do I even bother with it? Like, I'm not sure. It's called Space. It uses HTML code, which is definitely a learning curve. Super fun though. I finally got to experience what MySpace was like. I was way too young to use social media. Oh, okay. So it's, so it is. Sorry, I made the assumption that you were building a MySpace clone, like as in coding it. Yeah, Duncan. So logistically, I'm not actually having any stock on hand. I'll go over with samples, right? Because it's like a visa thing. So I can't actually sell and give the goods over. I have to fulfill them in Australia. So that's cool. So that takes a hell of a lot of stress. Next year, if I get accepted or if I go to other conventions and stuff in the US, I might make like an LLC and create a company over there and blah, 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 which allows me to then go over and then do business and then pay their taxes and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was a whole convoluted thing. There's no like expo visa or whatever you can get. It's an odd one. I appreciate it, Horned Warlord. Yeah, if I can get to it, I will. Okay. Let's gear up for the next round. Also, quick tip from social media. Don't post a post with the same caption. I posted a reel with a caption. This was for the launch of the drop, and a carousel, and I just used the same caption because it was the same information. Do not do that. Instagram just fucking buries the living shit out of both of the posts, which kind of makes sense because they could could flag it as like spam or whatever. But yeah, don't do that. I appreciate it, Duncan. Yeah, no, it's a bit convoluted. It doesn't make too much sense, like all the visa stuff, but it's something to look into next year. Calwag, have I ever played Team Fortress 2? I have, a long time ago, once at a mate's house. People do say that some of my work is reminiscent of that, definitely. All right, let's get another 15 minutes on the clock. Excuse me. Thank you. 15 minutes refresh. So how's your how have you been going, Duncan? You been doing any murals or anything like that? Okay. Let us roll. So what I might do actually, what might I do? There's so many different ways to do this. Let's go. You can also, quick tip with Photoshop and stuff, if you've got like a shape that you don't want to touch, it's going to be difficult to explain without just showing it. So I've selected the hair here, but I don't want the hair. I want to select just the skin. You can do like different like minus and times by holding like Option and Shift to then only select everything other than the hair, or just the hair, if that makes sense. So if I select everything, let's say, then I can minus and then only select the skin right here. It's hard, you have to play around with it. It took me a little while to figure it out, but it's pretty helpful, I've found, at least. What am I looking for? I actually quite like multiplier for laying down colors recently. Reason being, if you brighten it up completely, right, and let's just give it like a base flesh color, right, kind of acts like the color layer mode. If you decrease the saturation, you can then play with that. So it's kind of like all in one if you just play with these sliders. Devi, what's happening, my friend? Duncan just doing murals full time. Nice one. That's sick. I'd love to do one. That would be so much fun. As I'm starting to get into like airbrushing and painting and that kind of stuff, I love it. I'm absolutely in love with like the physical, like traditional art stuff, and particularly like the airbrushing kind of things. It's awesome. Okay. Let's add some of this color variation, right? So I see some warmth here. So I'm not being super particular with it, right? I'm seeing some warmth in the nose. I always do more warmth than there is in the nose. It always looks like my characters have a head cold. I don't care. I like the look of it. What are you going to do about it? I see a bit of orange up here going into some of the yellows, you know. A little bit of this going on. Some peaches even. And we can always, so this is just the under painting. So this would be the equivalent if I'm airbrushing, right? The airbrush tool, I've got so much more context with using it, with actually using a real airbrush. This would be the equivalent of adding like transparent colors, thinning them right down and just hitting it just ever so slightly. And how just doing this gives so much life to any kind of painting that you're trying to do. It's the variations, baby. Now we can darken some of this down a little bit. The ear, the nose, almost like she's a little bit sun-kissed, so we can do a little bit of that. A bit of this over here. All right, but the values aren't there yet, so we've got to tweak the values. Okay, definitely, but this just gives us something to work with. I will catch up with chat after this round. I've just got to lock in for the moment. I hope you understand. All right, let's select just the hair. There's a little bit, I see purples. I see purples and blues and transitioning up into a little bit of the oranges here. All right, so that's a cool base, just to start with. Now it's quite literally a cool base in the general sense and the hue sense. What am I looking? Let's do the color layer mode. Let's reduce the saturation, but give us a little bit of a blue color for the eyes. Alright, just excuse me, I was looking for a bit of a blue color. That's way too bright. Blue color. Thank you very much. Oh, fuck it. Oh, because I've chosen luminosity. That's what color. Thank you. Too blue. Desaturate it. Way too blue. Desaturate it even more. Possibly too dark. Too dark. that's okay. We'll start with this. This is kind of actually similar to my sclera color in the old paints. I've been experimenting with so many different paints as well. Like I've tried fucking shit tons just to get the right. Because what happens sometimes if you thin the paint too much with the airbrush, it loses its what's the word? You know what? I'm just going to start painting on top. That's going to be the easiest way. Just start. Just colors straight up colors. It loses its surface tension. It starts to bead up. So if you thin it too much, it really starts to become a pain in the ass. But if you get transparent colors, which I've learned that are made for that, or you get the right medium to do that kind of thing, it helps a lot. Okay, I'm zooming way too far in, if I'm perfectly honest. But that's okay. We all make mistakes. But yeah, I can't wait to get back into the regular. Why is that purple? Let's scooch it way more red into the old regular content side of things. Pumping the YouTube. I've been itching to get back into that. Let's add a hint of our, not our lightest lights, but I see like this shape here, right? This kind of weird kind of shape. So let's see if we can map something similar on here and creep up on it, right? So let's knock that back even with the eraser, if the eraser wants to work. I don't know why, for some unknown reason, look, I choose the eraser tool, E, right? And just because I'm on stream, I go to do this and it makes a liar of me. Usually it doesn't let me do this. Could not, you see, it's something about, I don't know, some weird stuff. All right, I'm just going to do this. You can also use the tilde key, the little key, to invert the brush that you're using. No, I don't want the crop tool. All right, so let's find some of these lighter colors and knock them back to start giving it some volume. There, I love this little like highlight in there. That really like pops it. That's sick. All right, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. And then we knock it right the way back. Because we want to slowly creep up on it. Don't want to put in our, or at least I don't at this very moment, put in like the lightest lights. Here. I'm also thinking about messing around with some 3D printing stuff as well. I've got a ton of ideas. And then either sculpting on top of them or painting them and casting them and that kind of thing. I think that could be fun. What time have we got? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to flow through this. I'm just going to go. The timer stops. Bugger the timer. Duncan, I have played a little bit ages ago with gradient maps, but I haven't as of late. Oh, Callywhack math test. Man. My condolences. But maths is, like, personally, I wish that I got more into those kind of subjects when I was in school. Because I think they're super useful, particularly statistics. Because a lot of what we should be learning as business people and artists and all that good stuff, and in the social media game, is a lot of it has to do with statistics and analytics and ratios and blah blah blah. I really wish they taught me that stuff in school. Or if I'm perfect, I wish I would have listened to that stuff in school. It's funny, like in English, for example, like you've got to stretch out all the essays and stuff to reach the word limit. Now you've got to cut everything back. In the real world, it's like, all right, how do you get your point across as succinctly as possible? What's the, at least for what I'm doing, not for like stories and stuff necessarily. Well, I guess kind of, you could think of it in that sense with like stories. You don't want to be like wasting the reader's time. Let's have a look, catch up with chat. April Moops, welcome back. Good morning. Adobe wants to track our techniques while in the middle of drawing in Photoshop, causing a lot of people to have an uproar. Yeah, I know. Who are your favorite artists to learn from? Lucky subscriber. Love the name. I really enjoy a lot of people, whether they're like quote unquote doing tutorials or teaching online or not. But for, let's say, figure, I love Steve Hampton. I love Steve Houston. Those guys, just off the top of my head, I just went straight to figure. I like breaking down artists' stuff on my own as well and trying to figure stuff out. So from a color perspective, I love Angela Sung. I believe it's Ango the Mango on YouTube, Instagram, and like socials and stuff. I think she's part of like the Warrior, however you say it. Let's add this lash here. That brings a lot to it, having like a proper lash kind of sitting in there properly. Ashlyn, the color variations are everything. They certainly are. Ben should do a how it feels to learn art and some tips about how to learn more. Good idea. Just pinged you what I did for the Street Art Festival to your Instagram if you fancy a gander. I'd bloody love it. Thank you, sir. I feel the whole purple in the hair is where it is thinner. Yeah, and it's like a lot of these colors are optical illusions as well. And like even the color correction on the photograph and all that kind of stuff. Ross, what did you want to make a fantasy world without humans but want people who read to have connection with the characters. How do I make a non-human character still something people connect with? Good question. My hunch would be to hit on core archetypes would be the word, maybe, or like core, like I guess like core feelings and emotions and all that sort of stuff that people still experience, but it's just coming through a different thing. Apologies if you can hear my stomach. I'm quite hungry. Lana, what's happening? Maybe this is done, but I'm trying to learn the Asara head. I think it's called, but why is that helpful to learn? Planes of the head. That's why the main reason that I did half of Plain Jane's head simplified, because what I'm thinking about here, everything is pretty much planes, whereas the light hitting, like we can see on this reference here, it is tricky. Let's just turn it black and white just for argument's sake. So the reason that you can see this lighter part right here, and why it's lighter, is there's a light source hovering up here somewhere, and it's reflecting off of this plane. Now, when I used to get confused with this, but basically the planes are kind of infinite, right? If you think, okay, we're going into the weeds here. If you think of a cube, right? Oh, my stomach is grumbling like crazy. Apologies. Hopefully the microphone doesn't pick it up. So let's say, how am I going to explain this? Let's think about having it so my pen shows up. Let's think about this like rectangle here. Okay, we got a rectangle. All right, technically these are all planes or faces, let's say. There's a face here, and face here. All right, now if we imagine, let's say a light source coming from this direction, let's add in just some flat values. This side is not going to be hit by light as much as this top side, nor is this front side going to be hit by light as much, depending on the environment, because this is just in a vacuum at the moment. Right, so let's increase the value a little bit for this front side. And there goes my stomach, my apologies. And then this top side. Okay, so now we've got dimension, we've got some volume on this cube. It gives it a 3D vibe. Now, what if we wanted to round out this portion of the cube? Well, there's going to be some sort of in-between values between this value and this value here. So let's see if we can find that and add like a bevel. And depending on the light direction is going to be, well, let's just go back to filthy, is going to dictate how much of a value change that is. Now that looks like we've got a bevel, so it kind of like stair steps down, right? Hopefully this is making sense. If we keep doing that, it's going to eventually turn into a perfectly curved kind of surface. All right, if you can imagine that. This is where planes come in handy. It allows us to simplify very complex forms, but then as artists, we can choose to smooth it all out if we want, or we can be more stylized and just keep it with this more simplified plane here, or we can go full on like jagged edges kind of stuff. I hope that makes sense. That's like a super ultra quick crash course on why planes are important, but hopefully that makes sense. Oh, Ashley, you're talking about different light sources. We can play around with that, definitely. How am I picking what place to make the light? Just from the reference. I'm using the reference at the moment. So let's switch back into black and white. Let's increase some of these highlights here. Hopefully that makes sense. You can really see the planes of the face, and if you struggle with the planes of the face, then you should invest in Plain Jane. Ashland, you bloody legend. Northern Lemon, how you doing? Debbie, you could save so much time on the Jane process with a 3D printed base. I know. That's the thing. It's like the toss-up between... Oh, shit. Hold on. Michael Hampton. His name's actually Steve. So, yes, Michael Hampton. That's correct. Hold on, just catching up with the chat. Honestly, feel kind of humiliated seeing Ben do these amazing paintings in 15 minutes while I take 15 minutes just to paint one color. Callywhack. One, I'd imagine if you're doing a math test, you're quite young. I'm 31, okay? So chill on that. Two, this is my living, right? So I've got to be able to do this, and I've practiced a lot. Never feel like the speed of which I do something you should be emulating, because sometimes when I do stuff fast and it looks like complete garbage. So don't feel like uptight about the speed that you're doing stuff. Marcio bought this last week, the Filthy Auto. Game changer indeed. Thanks, and cheers from Brazil. That's awesome. Glad you're getting some use out of it. Edge Art. Ed G Art of Drawing. How you doing? Ross, I see early 90s animation in your drawings. Awesome. I like that, because that's where I was born. Really recommend the Virtual Instructors Fundamentals course. The Virtual Instructors, I've not heard of them. I'll have to check it out. What shortcut you use to turn images black and white? It's Command Y, just YouTube. Command Y, Control Y, black and white Photoshop. And you'll be able to set that up. Debbie, quick snap break or intermittent fasting? I'm kind of fasted. Like I just did a workout this morning, fasted, got black coffee at the moment. So I usually eat after the streams. I've got to be careful what I eat, because it can make me very sluggish very quickly. Like if I eat like a big volume of food, it's not a good time, because then I just want to sleep. Sound like an old guy. I swear I'm not. But yeah, that is a pain. Is trying to... Then we got to go into the whole glycemic index. How low or high is the food in the glycemic index? If it's high, it's going to sugar spike me to bloody sleepy town. Back in Fifers. I guess it could be a loaf of bread, couldn't it? A little... What you call it? Maybe that was because I was hungry, you know. So now I'm just really slowly building up these values, not going too tightly to the reference, just trying to understand why certain values are going to be there, where I can make adjustments, if you know what I mean. Now creases and folds are a fun one as well. So let's say we wanted to add like a crease here to really like sit the eyelid. There's always going to be, that's always a good idea, flip the canvas. There's going to be like a dark what's the word? occlusion shadow here. But if we are following the same logic as the rest of the face and the rest of the lighting, there should be, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit of a light source hitting here. Right? Same deal right here. So we can add that in. And things like eyebrows and that kind of stuff, I try and imagine through them and then add them after in my head, right? Because I'm like, I imagine like she's got no eyebrows. What are the contours of the head gonna be doing, you know? How does this transition down into the eye socket? Very, very, very subtle. Now this, I'd imagine the top of there's going to be some dipping and curving and stuff in here. So let's add a little bit of value to the tops of those planes. Then we can always knock them back. We can always come in with the smudge tool if we want to as well and just blend them in. I don't tend to like to blend too much, but that's just me. An Instagram short right there in that uber sweet little tutorial. I know I need someone to grab these and make the shorts. That's going to be something I reckon next year. I'm hoping I'd love to get someone on board, video editing wise. Yeah, young word. I stand corrected. You learned something. Yeah, I know. I didn't realize that his name's Steve. She's looking at the buffet for the stream end. I know, right? Northern Lemon. I've been confused for a while about why reflections move according to your perspective, but non-reflected light stays at the same place no matter what angle you look from. Could you explain? Oh shit, this is my favorite topic. Do we crack open Blender? I think we might have to crack open Blender because it's one of my all-time favorite like aha moments where I was just like, poof, poof, poof. Holy shit. All right, MacBook, don't blow up on me. Let's discover the world of light. Okay. Lady with goggles blend. What was it? Oh, right, that one. Okay. So. Hello, old friend. Haven't seen you in a little while. Ta-ta for now. Let's get a sphere. We are on a tangent. Okay. Let's make this shiny. Okay. So we've got a specular highlight here. Let's shade smooth. All right. Or it would be beneficial if I could draw on this. How do I do that again? Can I just do it with a note? Oh, let's add a grease pencil blank. Because I think I can do that with a grease pencil. And then if I go to And then if I parent the grease pencil to the sphere, no, parent object, and then I snap to face. Let's see. No, I see nothing. Why? I need super. Where's super when I need it? We had this issue last time. I can't think of why. Nothing's drawing on here. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Sculpt node annotation tool. That could be, but I've done it with a grease pencil and it was fantastic. We will figure it out. Don't you worry. Let's go without this. Can the grease pencil, the old G pencil. Okay, it's not working. Why is it not working? Why is it not working? Strength, radius, 20 pixels. Is that the issue? No. Ah, okay. So it's drawing in the background. Okay. So there's an issue. Okay, so we can draw out in no man's land. We just need to sculpt mode annotation. Okay, I need it to show up in render mode though. That's the only thing. Surface, stroke placement. We're here. Okay. So let us draw a little dot where, aha, we've got it. Okay, it's not on the surface. Advance, offset, stroke, simplify. Surface, offset, beautiful. Let's go like right on there if it wants to work for me. Fucking beautiful. Ish. You get the idea. All right. So this is a phenomenon that I love. There's two things. It's called Lambertian reflection and specular reflection, right? So Lambert reflection, correct me if I'm wrong here, if anyone in the chat. Lambert reflection is matte, right? So it's like the matte reflection on a surface without this specular highlight. So if we come here, I've parented the sphere to the fucking, let's unparent it. Hold on. Parent, clear parent. One. That and that. Clear the parents. Thank you. Unparent. Thank you. All right. So the Lambert reflection is the reflection. You can think of it like this, right? Just a matte surface. Okay. Now, you can imagine that this matte surface, the light source is here, right up here. Okay, it's shining down. This is us right in line sight of that light source. You can imagine that this is like an airbrush and you've sprayed it onto the surface. Okay, it's not moving. It's as if we've got some spray paint and just gone shh, and it's stuck on there. Now, the specular reflection, which everyone likes to draw, I love to paint it and draw it, is here. Now, the weird thing with the specular reflections, if we go to grease pencil and we put a little dot right where that specular highlight is, okay, and we move the camera, it's not stuck, right? if I do a line around here, that terminator line of that Lambert reflection or that matte surface, see how that sticks? It's a bit jank because we're in cycles. Would this work in Eevee? Yeah, that works in Eevee. That's a lot nicer. See how that stays, right? That sticks. The Lambert reflection is as if it's painted on. That's how I think of it. It's not actually like that. That's just how I think of it. But that specular reflection is moving all the time. And that's going to be dependent both on the light source and where you're viewing it from. Okay, so if we look at the light source, now we can go into like super detailed shit like the angle of incidence and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do that because I haven't got it clear in my head and I could be saying wrong stuff. But I imagine it almost like a pool, like on a pool table, right? If we, it's hard to, the angle of incidence is where this angle, right, that this light source is hitting that reflection and going up to our eyes or where we're viewing it from is equal on either end, right? So if we go back to where we've drawn that circle, this light source here, that angle, boom, is going to be the same as it hitting, coming back into our eyes, right? So that's something to take into account because a lot of mistakes happen when people think, okay, I'm going to put the highlight right in the middle of where they call it this, you can also call this the center light, right? That Lambert reflection, that matte painted on light source. I want to put it right in the center of where that lightest point is going to be. That's only going to be true if we're looking at it bang on from here. If we look at it from more of a natural angle, of say if we're right next to the sphere, it's going to be down here, right? Where a lot of people would put it right where the brightest point is. That was a huge aha moment for me, and I hope that makes sense. Tangent achieved. But then we can go back and use this. I'm going to close this because this is going to destroy. We can use this understanding, all right, with now in this case, the light source, because someone's taken a photo and it looks like a flash of the photo, that would potentially be bouncing back straight at us. Right, so we can have a look here and imagine this is like a plane. This is going to be bouncing straight back at us. And even in concave things that scoop inwards, you're going to get that light source here. So we might get a little bit of a specular reflection there on the nose, and we'll get stuff on the interior, on the scooping in of that eyelid. We'll get it on the outside of the eyelid and on the interior. Hopefully that makes sense. It's like poor ball forgotten in a puddle. But yeah, that's my favorite all-time favorite lighting understanding, if that makes sense. Because that then informs everything. Because without light, you see nothing. That sounds very poetic and a bit wanky, but it's true. Okay. little bit of smudging. Smudge a bit of that in. So it's a bit of a smoother transition. And you can see it here. Those reflections. That reflection's right on the apex of that cheek, right on the sort of apex of that nose, and then right in the corner here. Even in the little concave of the ear as well. So we can utilize that on our character to know that we're going to add, maybe not that intense at the moment. We'll sneak up on it. We'll creep up on the highlight. And then because we've invented shapes, and this is how you can invent characters and shapes and still have them look realistic, is understanding a lot of that stuff. So there might be a highlight on the I thought that was the music. Someone's bloody grinding something out there. Yes, Fresnel's really important as well. 100% Duncan. Alright, let's continue. Sorry if you guys can hear that. It's very annoying. Now, property of... See, check this. Look at that, right? This is one of those strokes that really makes it pop that you might not notice. All around the edge of her face, it's curving away from us. So that is going to be a darker value than any of these stuff here if we're just looking at the skin. Alright, so if we add that back in, that then gives it so much more dimension than if it wasn't there. If that makes sense. Come on. Boom. Alright, so now that brings a lot more dimension. And we can do something similar to the rest of the face, like making sure that these values here turn away. Even the neck. No cardigan today. How you doing, Mark? Lana, oh thank you. Yeah, I've got to finish this. Got to finish this one. I've been there's a little oil piece. Got to get stuck back into the oils. Thanks, Lana. Do you give much thought to value grouping when you are doing your shape design? Value grouping, could you expand on that a little bit more? What method you're doing with the oils? A la prima? I think so. Is that a la prima is wet on wet? I mean, it's dry as shit right now, so that's not true. But that's how I like to do the oils. See, even like, this is a reason also why I can like turn this upside down. Everything's in context, and it kind of like makes sense still. I'm just going to knock all this down into the one layer. Just to play against the light and dark, really, there's a bit more to it in the value grouping discussion. Yeah, I guess what I like to do is understand where my darkest darks are in general, right? So I had the hair, the eyes, the brows, and some indications of the shadows, and then have kind of like a mid-tone for the, this is what I was just thinking about with this particular one, have some of the mid-tones in the skin, add in those color variations, and then I'll sort of go out from there. I always end up, because there's been times where I've tried to be really like rigid with my value groupings and make sure that I get them like just so in the beginning. They always end up not as good versus if I just go and sort of try and find them as I go, particularly if I'm just using, if I'm like inventing. If I'm using reference, I can get pretty accurate enough values like earlier on, if that makes sense. That's probably just a something that I've got to work on, you know. Oh, the Dutch Flemish method. I like that. I wouldn't mind that, because I've seen some people do glazing. I mean, I could always glaze that one as well. Because I love doing that with the airbrush. Like lots of washes. Ross, do I still need to flip at this point? Yeah, sometimes. Definitely. I'm always flipping. Always be flipping. KT, use a mirror. Oh, nice one. Yeah, for traditional stuff. That's a good idea. I'm going off on some tangents here, but I think you probably do think of value grouping in your shape designs without thinking about it. Possibly. That's definitely a possibility. I don't know how to articulate it just yet. Some things are, I guess, quote unquote, automatic at this stage. But I've been looking at some of my older work, older as in like a year or so ago. There's so much I would change. So much. I reckon that might be like a little series that I do even in Reels. I'm just like, alright, I'm going to critique my own stuff. Alright, we've removed the eyelash, so let's add that back in. I would like to have stylized this a little bit more. It's a little bit more on the realism side from what I would typically like, but I'm kind of okay with it. We've gone too far. Let's see what the color looks like. It's getting there. We really need to desaturate some of these highlights. So I would come in here. I might just start using the brush. remove. What I like to do with the brush sometimes is to just remove the shape dynamics, like the size, so it's just like as if it's just a flat brush. So this is a lot cooler. Jesus. Now we're just mushing the values. Super, how you doing, my friend? We needed you earlier. We did a bit of blender work. I called out for you, and you arrived. You're like Batman. Great to have you. Yeah, it's going well. It's going really well. It helps to be naive about the amount of work you need to put into it, definitely. KT, does painting in grayscale have advantages? Definitely. You're not worried about any of this color variation or any of that kind of stuff. It's literally just values, which what Duncan was talking about earlier. Even with traditional, you can work like that and then do a bunch of glazes over the top. Alright, I really want to start popping some color in. Let's play with the eye. Are you guys cool with me just doing this? Just noodling away on this one and chatting? Give us an indication. Yep, cool. Super. Oh, it was just a grease pencil question. I got there in the end from your expertise tutelage. I remembered. Ah, that's good though that you've been working a lot, Super. Thungans, how you doing, my friend? Thungans, I think I have, yeah. Noodle and shoot the breeze. That's it. Glad to hear it, Ross. Lana's liking it. Sweet. This needs to be lighter. So this, we haven't even, what we were talking about earlier with the specular versus Lambert reflections, we haven't even really pushed those speculars. I like to work with the subtle matte reflections first, and then transition into, like, the specular highlights are kind of the reward, because if you put everything correct-ish or correct enough, then you get rewarded with specular highlights that look nice. They are the proverbial cherry on top. Now, one thing I want to start focusing on as well in my own work is the transitions between the hair and the skin. can sometimes be pretty harsh. We got the OGs in chat, I know, right? I love it. Ah, glad to hear it, Ashlyn. Dazzling, what's happening? Do the highlights inform the matte lighting or vice versa? Flip it. For me, flip it the other way. If I get the matte lighting feeling good, then I can more easily place those specular highlights. I mean, I can sometimes. I do cheeky, like I'll just like place the speculars where they'll be way before they need to be, just as a little preview, but I often will just remove them and then do them properly. Ah, the mixer brush. That's a good idea. Where is that again? Mixer brush, mixer brush. Let's play around with that. Yeah, I like the mixer brush, but I am a little bit wary of it looking a little too smudgy, if that makes sense. That happens with me sometimes. There's quite a little bit of like darker values here as well. So if I can do it by knocking in actual shapes, I'll almost always opt for that. If that makes any sense at all. To give the illusion of that transition. And it's good practice as well, just to hit the correct values where they need to be. It looks like she's got a bit of a headband going on, which is not what I want. Now this then comes back to the question of texture as well. How would you make this? No, that needs to be I'm going to purple the shit out of that highlight. And this is the same deal as with hair, right? Hair is a very reflective material oftentimes. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's very matte. But here it's very reflective. So these are all the kind of specular highlights that we're seeing. Let's move that background so we can get both of these. Yeah, there's lots of work to be done. We'll go for another half hour, I reckon, because I've got some work to do. I've got to fulfill some orders. Shopify kind of messed up a little bit on me, or it was user error. I accidentally sold one more of the special edition plain Janes that I meant to. So I've got to go and make a few of those ones, plus one more. But yeah, with the smudging and stuff, it's a dangerous game for me because it can get really messy looking. This is just me. It can get really messy looking because I lean on it and I'm just like, oh yeah, smudge it here, smudge it there, smudge it here, smudge it there. Yeah, there needs to be darker transitions underneath here for sure. Oh, I'll have to check out Craig Mullen's brush. Definitely. I appreciate it, Devi. Devi, you placed a print order that was cancelled? Did you cancel it? There are, I believe, a couple of plain Jane prints since I last checked. I'll DM me. We'll sort something out. That shouldn't have happened. How are you but how are you changing the colors so quickly? I am eye dropping and then going and manually changing these colors to try and get the correct transition in the cheeks and everything, really. Yeah, I had a couple of people say that their order got cancelled or something. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, if that happened to you, DM me and I'll sort it out. Kenny NYC1, what's happening? Not from my end, no, happened a few hours later. It was almost definitely PayPal, scumbags. Yeah, Devi, flick us a message. DM me and we'll get you one. Did I have Halloween in Australia? Yeah, we do. We have more recently, yeah. Like in recent years, it's become more of a thing. Dynamite Panjalakita. Thank you. Great to have you. Duncan, you had a question. Are you packing and going to the old post office to send the orders out? No, I'm actually using something called Sendle. Not sponsored, but they're fucking fantastic. They come to your house. You just print. I've got like a little shipping label printer. Print it out. And they just come to your house and pick it up. It's fucking great. You just book a time with them. They rock up. And it worked for last batch. So that might be something if you're... I remember you talking about prints ages ago. It could be something just as an extra little bit of less friction. Kenny NYC, I'm good. So you have a shop where you can draw people as cartoons? I don't. I'm not taking commissions currently. Trickiest thing for me when it comes to values are some types of tattoos or certain skin markings, etc. That comes down to a lot of like local values. All right, maybe we'll see if we can help you out and give her a tattoo of sorts somewhere. Now I want to add some blues here because this is very warm. Let's see if we can utilize the luminance lock right here and add in some blues. Maybe that's a little bit too nuts. Just want to scooch it this way just a tad. There, when you just add in that saturation, it's all in the greys. Awesome, Debbie. Yeah, I'll sort that out for you. Don't stress. Ross WU, Oz, make fun of UK heat. Love you lot to try humid summer. Oh, humidity sucks. I hate it. Yeah. Nah, not a fan of the old humidity, that's for sure. Raphael, will the stream stay available after it ends? Certainly will. Linda, how you doing? First time here at live. Great to have you. Welcome. I'm interested in purchasing autofill plugin, but was wondering if there's a video that explains in depth about auto shift hues and luminosity lock. There is no video, but if you watch right now, you'll get a little demo because I'm actually using it right now. So the hue shifts here up the top, basically between 0 and 360 degrees, which is just how hues work. This is like no hue shifts. This is a lot of hue shifts, right? So we turn the luminosity lock off and we lay the colors down. It's going to ping around randomly, right? But if we want to keep within a kind of just a little section of what I've selected, let's say this more pink kind of color, and we kind of zoom in, right? It's just going to ever so slightly bounce around. I don't even know if you can see that, but it's just a little bit of different values. Now, if we wanted to keep within, let's say we've got a whole section here of just a pretty consistent value. Let's whip on luminosity lock, or luminance lock, as it's called. We're going to bounce around. Right, let's do like full bouncing around. It's going to try and keep everything within this one value. I'm in black and white mode now. You can't see anything, but then we go into full color mode. It's added them as if it's the same value as what you've selected. Same thing here in the hair. This is pretty crazy, the hue jumps that it's doing, right? But you can do this, right? So all you got to do is select the luminance that you want, and away you go, if that makes sense. I don't like to go this crazy personally with the colors. So I might come back here and subdue them a little bit, reduce the saturation, reduce how crazy it goes into different color variations. But we can block out some of these values on the cheek here. Let's even reduce how crazy it goes even more. So it goes back into the reds a little bit. Alright, now we've got this kind of blocky, but then if we go white, it's still within that value range, which is super helpful for keeping it sort of confined, if that makes sense, within the same kind of value patterns. Good timing, because I was just playing around with it myself. Hopefully that makes sense. I thought Australia's summer is in the winter. Now, our summer is in the summer. Your guys' summer is in the winter. Mike Tyson face tattoo. Potentially. You don't know. We'll have a bit of fun. Yeah, Duncan agree, those cooler neutrals, yeah, they set it off, because that's one way to make a drawing be super flat, is if you don't have color variation. I mean, we technically have color variation with the warms of the cheeks and the nose and that kind of thing, but no, I 1000% agree. Can do. This also works with the brush as well, not just the shape tool, so I can knock that right the way back. So every brush stroke is slightly different. So that's really, really helpful if you just want to subdue some of this stuff, almost like, as Duncan and I were talking about, glazing over stuff. Awesome, glad to hear it, Linda. Cozy boy. I just popped in while drawing. Right now I'm putting together a project. Any advice for rendering with light, shadows, contrast, and not being dependent on line work? I feel like I rely on it too much. I did a little demo earlier on in the stream with my favorite lighting concept, I guess you could say, that might help you out. It's where I go into like a 3D model. Luminance lock. Thank you. Uh-oh. Something's happening. Technical difficulties. Oh god. Are we back? We're back. We're back. We're back. Now, where was I? Okay, so there's some little difficulties here. ebbs and little flows. Way too bright. You notice here as I start modeling, like I like how people call this modeling the form, because it is. You're kind of like sculpting in bits and pieces. So even here, I like this, showing that this is another slight plane variation or a different angle. Like this here, this section in here is feeling a lot more rendered than like a lot of the other sections. So let's see if we can get this a little bit, feeling a little bit more cohesive would be the word, I guess. Duncan only seen about 3 snakes. That's 3 more than me. I've lived here my whole life. Nixon, I did start on black and white with this one, which is why it's looking a little bit lackluster with the color. But we'll fix that. What does my shirt say? New Hyde Park Studio, New York, US. Duncan, have you had any more future plans that you can discuss since I was last able to catch a stream? Rooting for you to become Oz version of 1000. I appreciate you, my friend. I don't know if you've seen the streams. I've decked out the garage, so it's a full like studio setup now. Been doing a lot of filming in there. What else? My main focus has been just the art drop recently, but as you know, I'm going to do Lightbox in October. What else? What else has been happening? At least for me, my focus is just going to be on content and really nailing in, and putting a lot more focus on the course that I've been working on. I'm looking forward to really sinking my teeth into that. These are fun little subtleties here, like the corner of the mouth, showing this, right? This is the beauty of planes, right? Here, if we look at the, let's say, wireframe of the mouth, we can imagine that it's kind of like goes up, down, tucks under, and then this kind of bounces out. So to give the illusion of that bouncing out, if we just add a little light of value just on that corner of the lip, because I'm seeing it here on the reference, that then really pushes out that bottom lip. And then if we blend it back in using our understanding of values, that then starts to change the whole face shape, if that makes sense. Glitch, what's happening, my friend? Great to have ya. That, Katie, that's cool. John, love seeing all the free tutorial content you're making these days. Does YouTube take up most of your time now, or do you balance it with concept design gigs? It's content is my full time. This last batch was my full time, which was taking over how much I would like to be putting out content wise. So yeah, coming up, YouTube is going to be the go moving forward, and Reels and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the content. Lana, I deleted the photo of Ben's magazine in the Discord. Oh no. Orkin, haven't heard your dogs in your streams lately. Are they not with you anymore? They're with me, but they've just decided to behave recently, which is great. They're sleeping a lot more in this colder weather. They're a lot more subdued, which is nice. Hoa Tran, thank you so much. Welcome. Value Babe. Great to have you back. Am I saying that right? Ballyhoo Babe. Ballahu Babe. I always I just make the assumption. You know who I'm talking to though. Let's see if we can nail that shadow to sit that eye in. The eye's looking a little bit flat for my liking. But it is what it is. This is the thing, this stuff takes like properly like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. This is just a nice fun little low stress color study. And just hanging out, chatting with you guys. Let's get this ear. Let's model this ear. Now, an extra layer you can start to think about on top of the sort of Lambertian reflections and specular highlights that we were talking about earlier is what happens to the color when it transitions around those objects. As a rule of thumb, as the light, this is very rule of thumb, it depends on the light source and all that fun stuff. Just take it with a whole like rock of salt. The closer that you get to the light source, the more desaturated the color potentially can be, depending on the material as well. For example, you could notice here how desaturated this highlight is. This isn't like a super, it's a far less saturated color versus the skin tone, right? And that transition between these colors is something to keep an eye on as well. It's very dependent on the situation, etc., etc. But whoa, that's something. Oh, where was I? I was at the ear. We need to model this one up a little bit more. I really like pushing the colors within the shadows as well, because I find you can get a lot of leeway with the colors in the shadows. Look at John Asaro's work and you'll see what I mean. Devi, you and Christian planning on more episodes? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to think recently, but yeah, I should really post that in my stories. We did a podcast. Will that replace the Make Nothing Later podcast? Definitely not. No. Still want to do my podcast with Francis. Actually, I just realized how wholesome this community is. This compared to the streams my mom watches is like night and day. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, no, it's an absolute bloody delight. Popping in here, having a chat. Winston, when will we hear your sweet voice? Well, if someone knocks on the door or if there's a commotion out the back, you will hear Winston, that's for sure. We'll see if we can... Hold on. Winston just sleeps all day. So we'll see if we can get Ollie. Ollie! If he wants to come, he'll come. I don't want to get him out of his slumber if he's sleeping, which I guarantee you he's sleeping. I think they need a little doggy treat for behaving. Julia, I agree. I do agree. I do love me the greyish blues, Duncan. Definitely. Oh, this song. A YouTuber uses this. Who uses this song? Maybe it's like an explainer. Oh, Corridor Crew, I think. Corridor. Ben, we are able to catch the conversation Ashley and I were having. No, I didn't. About my game. I was able to get cutscenes working in Unity. Posted a few examples on my Twitter. Plus, I re-rigged Stella's face. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so excited for the game. It'd be such a good feeling figuring that stuff out. Like, I just know it from like my very, compared to what you're working on, like rudimental coding stuff. It's just such few better feelings than figuring that kind of stuff out. Congrats, man. Shining Monster. Wait, what are the names of the podcasts? I don't know what the name of Christian and my podcast is. If you go down to Christian Knees, yeah, you want to see the wildlife of Australia attacking me? He's through from when he was on, when he came down here. Let me just pull it up.
Wouldn't it be crazy if you could create voiceovers that sound like a
raspy old man?
A young teenage girl.
We figure out the whole art thing
Ready?
on our own. This episode is going to be about starting personal projects
No thanks.
and trying to commit to them the point where they actually start becoming something, whether it's looking for followers or an income
Sure.
or any of that kind of stuff.
Could happen soon.
And this particular project or this podcast is our version of starting a personal project.
Is it? Where's the duck?
This is the first episode of a podcast I'm starting with Ben Eblin. If you're
Yeah,
not
here we
familiar
go.
with either of us,
Look at this.
we are both artists
that
and
little bugger.
YouTubers, and we are in.
This is Australia for you. You think the bloody crocodiles and stuff are scary? Yep, Winston is a dog. We got Winston and Ollie here. Devi almost adopted a kitten. What made you stop? See, it's funny. It's funny. Always, grass is always greener, hey? Yeah. See, C sharp. That'd be a fun language to learn. Because I'm just in JavaScript land. But now I guess like with ChatGPT and that kind of stuff, if anyone is interested in learning to code, now's the time to do it. Like you literally just have a tutor next to you giving you code snippets. See, now we're just slowly building this out. We need some color in the background, I reckon. That'll do. Duncan not had a chance to update the latest version. Oh, dude, honestly, I highly recommend it. Luminance lock works so much better. Also, quick tip, if you haven't already, like with you can feather the shapes. If it wants to fucking work. Oh, we can do it for the background. We can like feather stuff. It's just built in already to it. It didn't need to add anything. So you can just like feather all those. But yeah, just a little quick tip. Yeah, the duck attack, yeah. So feral, I know. Do you guys have geese? Yeah, we've got them. They scare the shit out of me. When I go for a walk, there's a couple of big boys. And they just like walk around. They're like, come on. Do something. They're not kind animals. Wolby on. Great to have you. Welcome, newcomer. Ross, can't let myself use it. Feels stupid, but same time. What's that one? Ashlyn Ben Ross. I need to get the hair for it, hey? Excuse me, what's going on here? No pixels were more than... Remove the feather. Thank you. See, that's a nice little... That's all the little color variations that we've added pretty much. So going from... It was okay, but then modeling it out then adding the color variations over the top. Very nice. Jim, watching your streams helps my brain to find whisper lines easily when doing sketches. I am glad. Whisper lines are the bomb. See, it's little things like this, right? Even the forehead. There's just little subtle variations. Just adding that in there, we can then really wisp it out into nothingness, but it's there now. This is the fun of just using reference straight up and just like studying like this. I really enjoy this. Too bright. Yeah, Orkin, I was messing with him. Like I wasn't an innocent bystander. I was messing around, and it had babies around it. I respect the mum for saying, fucking, I was quacking around and I found out. Geese honestly make great guard dogs. Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that. Imagine on Halloween Ben dresses as Bob Ross for a stream. Maybe. You never know. You once fell into a serpentine river in London trying to help a duck. Man. I once helped a pelican. He's a big boy. He had fishing line wrapped around him. They are very light. I mean, it makes sense. They're a bird, right? But for how big they are, it was very, very light. I need to cook around and find out as a poster. Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas. Now I've got the printing process down. I've got a lot of ideas for prints. And like, what I'm thinking I might do, I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm just thinking about out loud, doing like mini drops. So instead of like killing myself for like 3 months trying to get stuff done, just doing like ultra limited mini batch drops of stuff. That could be, and then I could like do that. And just do when we finally get around to finishing the quokka and the gorilla and that kind of stuff, just doing like ultra small batch runs. I reckon that'd be fun to do. Even from a like a business side of things, doing small test runs of different product ideas. So instead of spending like hundreds of hours, even with the sculpting stuff, making molds and everything, selling a couple of originals, and then just to test stuff out, because the lead time and the turnaround time on that stuff is pretty long. So that's what I'm thinking after this batch. It's just smaller batch runs and then maybe a few larger ones throughout the year or something. No, Ben, don't say that out loud. I can see the little quokka with a lab coat and thick black rimmed square glasses. I agree. Do it. Ashton, go for it. Maybe that's an idea for the characters that we did, including the quokka. It's like a draw this in your style. I could do that. That'd be fun. That beak was probably scary though, the pelican. Oh yeah. Yeah, it would do, probably wouldn't do too much damage, but it's, yeah, not something you want to be nipped with. But when I go fishing with Dad, we'd sometimes feed, like if we caught some fish or whatever, we'd sometimes feed them. And they just like fish like that big. They just, and it's gone. It's crazy like seeing them fly as well. Like in the, like a flock of pelicans fly. It looks very like prehistoric. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Duncan, and the with the latest update, the performance of it is a lot better as well. The one time I would actually participate in a draw this in your style. Well, I'm glad to know that. So that's, now I've got a bit more time. That's something we can focus on. And I've got to hop into the Discord more often. I've just been stressed out of my mind trying to get this batch drop done. But I'm glad it's done. Do we want to do a bit of smudging? Whoa. All right, now we've started to build this up a little bit more. Let's zoom out and see where we're at. Yeah, I've been really creeping up on the highlights. I need to pop them. Let's pop some of these highlights before we head off. Oh my god. Yeah, Frank, do some Frank fan art. That'd be great. Lana, yeah, it boggles my mind. Especially the massive flocks of them and they just know where to go. Doesn't make any sense. Duncan, do you deal with any other artists in the real world in Adelaide, or are your artist dealings more online? All online, pretty much. That's the unfortunate part of being in Adelaide. But we've got CDW Studios, which I want to pop into more, which is really cool. But yeah, no, it's all pretty much all online. When I pop over to the US as well, I want to do like a sketch group, which will be fun. I want to go to New York. I'd love to swing past Austin. Austin will be sick. All right, what was I saying? Something about popping the highlights. Yeah, here, this is where we can start to slowly add in some of these specular highlights. Where the absolute brightest brights are, then we can smudge them back a little bit so they're not as in your face. Whoa. So yeah, just as a reminder, the shop is closing tonight. So if you do want to grab a print or a hand sculpt, part of the breakdown collection. All right, these two come together. Go and do it. But yeah, now the smaller batch drops, I reckon, in the future are going to be a lot less stressful. But it's all manufactured stress. I just put like an arbitrary date on it. Like it's all my fault. No one forced me to do it. Now let's see if we can find some of these highlights in here for the hair. Thank you, Lana. I reckon Oklahoma City. Where is that? I've got my geography is terrible at best in general. But whereabouts is that? Is that Middle America? Oklahoma. You're going to meet a lot of artists at Lightbox. That's the watering hole. The watering hole. They should rename it to that. I like that. Ah, Katie. That's true. That is true. The pros and cons of being your own boss. That's right. Duncan, is your other half going over to you with the US? You should do a meet and greet. She's not. No. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to assume that I would be worth having a meet and greet with. You know? It's kind of an odd thing, but Christian actually holds like sketch meetups and that kind of thing. So I might book a couple of those in. That'll be fun. I'll get my gouache painting chops up before I go. I want to try acrylic gouache as well. That looks fun. Yeah, Ross, it's a yearly thing. Lana. Coffee today. Yes, in the morning. Shit, it's the afternoon now. But if I stop now, I should be alright. But yeah, yerba after this. Christian. Speaking of, Christian, how's he doing? He's like Batman as well. How you doing, my friend? But do you have a photo of the dogs? I want to see them. All right, let's get Ollie for the last little bit of the stream. Give me a moment. He likes working with me. Alright, here's Olsey. He's taking a bit of a nap. You come here, Winston? Say hi to everyone? Okay. Now come here? Come here? Come on. No? Not interested? Or you are? I'll leave it up to you. Yeah, he's a little one. He's the best. So are you. So are you. But you're very well behaved. And he sounds like a pig. Duncan Yerba. It's my replacement for coffee. It's got more caffeine than like black coffee and green tea, but it's a little bit less caffeine, than coffee. And it gives me a lot smoother energy throughout the day rather than like the boof, 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 boof of coffee. Yeah, Duncan, I recommend giving it a whirl if you drink coffee yourself. Like it's nice. So yeah, this is Ollie. For those of you that are newer to the stream, he's a beautiful little Shih Tzu. And he's very sleepy all the time. And he'll just sit here and work with me sometimes. Shining Monster, I'm from Argentina and we drink yerba mate. You can also get it in tea bags. Yeah, I haven't tried the tea bags actually. I do the full like loose leaf with bombilla and all that sort of stuff. That dog is so cute. They are cute until they start barking at random stuff when you're trying to get work done, or if you're on a call, or you're trying to sleep. This little dude snores like crazy. He'll probably start if we sit here long enough. But he'll just quite happily sit here for hours. Does not look comfortable at all, but yeah. Nah, Winston wasn't having it. He's his own man. Alright, let's add in some darks of the hair and then I reckon we'll call it. Shining, it's not very popular in Australia that I've seen. Yerba. Yeah, there's this one shop, this one South American shop across the other side of town that I've got to go to just to get it. What I like to do with hair as well is just some of these flyaway hairs, just to give it a little bit of just a little bit of something, you know. Oh, here comes the snoring. DR, you've got a Shih Tzu too. Oh, nice one. Too late for a tattoo? Okay, cool. Good call, Debbie. Fun fact, Papas in Norse means boobs. Ashton coming with the facts. Yeah, Duncan, these are Shih Tzus. Lana, these dogs, these would be coming in 12. I think you'd be 12 now, wouldn't you? 12 or 13. He's an older boy. He's a good boy though. Very sleepy. All right, so the tattoo, what we were talking about, the way that I'd like to tackle tattoos is, let's say we go multiply. All right. I don't know what tattoo. Well, let's say we had like a face tattoo or whatever. Way too dark. All right. They're under the skin, so they're going to reflect differently sometimes as well. Like if she was like full hardcore. All right, multiply layer. This is like a quick way of doing the tattoos. All right, let's say that she had like a flower tattoo or something. All right, just that quick little multiply. All right, and then you can play around with the layer of how dark you want it. And then you can play around with the color. Like if you had the more traditional sort of greeny, bluey. Here comes the snoring. Right, so you can get that pretty quickly. But let's say that this crossed over, like a tattoo, crossed over some of the highlighted parts. Like if there was like a full, like Mike Tyson sort of deal, that would have to carry over the highlights of the skin. Let's say there's like a full on, like whatever, something like this. I don't know, let's make it more clear, like a tattoo here, like she's full, like fucking, I don't know, right? Let's say that's a tattoo. You'd still want to take into account so we'll knock it back a little bit. The highlights and the specular highlights. So what I would do is I would actually erase. Whoa, hello. Oh boy. Yeah, go be warm. You're shaking a bit. Say goodbye, everyone. Say goodbye. It still would need to follow the contour of the face. But just as importantly, we'd want to even just erase a little bit of these highlights, like just in that area, to like ground it in reality. See that? And I would get a lot of reference of tattoos, like in different colors, light, and all that kind of stuff, and how it reacts to different lighting scenarios and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that's how I would tackle tattoos, if that makes sense. Make it a UFC fighter. Yeah, it really does. So it's taking into account those specular highlights on top of the tattoos, not just slapping it on like a sticker, if that makes sense. All right. With that, does your lasso tool work with all Photoshop? Photoshop CC, the Creative Cloud, not like CS6 and that kind of stuff, unfortunately. It's been a pleasure to have you, Duncan. Thank you for popping in. B Jim, thank you very much. Thanks for popping in. KT Cat, yeah, there's different ways you could do it. You could just straight up paint it, you know. You don't have to do it using multiply, but as I've said a lot of the times, the layer modes are just a means to an end. I would hope to think that I could get to that, like where I do all the layer modes and that kind of thing, to that result just with straight up painting. I appreciate it, Rachel. Thank you. So yeah, before we go, store's open until tonight. Still got a couple of things left. Got the Breakdown Collection hand sculpts. These two come as one. We've also got a couple of the prints available. Give me a moment. Got the Plain Jane. This is a, I've made it so this is an IKEA frame, so it's a pretty affordable frame that fits it perfectly. And we've got the stream special for those OGs that came along for the ride for this one. So it's open until tonight. The frame's not included, no. No, it's not, Debbie. No, but I've made it so that it's like a cheaper IKEA frame that would fit it fine. Francis Vallejo, no. No, I don't follow him. Should I? We'd like to see a duck dance before you go. Oh, no, that's... We've got to do a membership stream for that kind of shenanigans. Thank you, Shining. Thanks for popping in. Great to have you, Ashlyn. So, same time next week. You know the drill. Start the week off right. Thank you again. It's an absolute pleasure chatting with you all. Yeah, Sundays with the chat. Same time. Australian Central Standard Time. Monday, Australian Central Standard Time, 10:30 or 10:45 a.m. 4 p.m. PST on a Sunday, I think. Time zones. You know the drill. But I post it to my socials before I go live. So, yeah. Anyway. Have a great rest of your day. Have a fantastic week. And I'll be catching you in the next one. Bye for now. And as always, I've lost my tab to quit the stream. I'm still here. Still here. This is awkward. Alright, end the stream. Alright, catch ya.